lot of the time in that situation where you took the layup, guys would try to run it out and get fouled. What made you think that you wanted to go for the layup instead of trying to...
Backcourt! Fox has a chance to get it. Fox has it inside.
Yo, my Wemby jersey finally showed up. I ordered this thing weeks ago, and now it decides to arrive right after they blew a 30-point lead in the finals. Come on, man. I'm telling y'all, this whole thing feels rigged. The NBA is scripted, and I'm about to explain why. Let me open this jersey. Man, I can't even enjoy it right now. 30 points. They were up by 30 at halftime. This video is brought to you by my guy, D Green. Shout out to D Green for the support. But seriously, where do I even start? In the first half, Wemby was completely taken over. He had everybody frustrated. Mitchell Robinson gave him an easy bucket, and Wemby knocked it down while letting everyone know he was in control. Robinson got baited into playing emotionally, and it looked like Wemby was completely inside his head. That's why I thought the game was already over. I was convinced the Spurs had it locked up. My third eye was open. Adam Silver made the call. I've been saying this from the start. And by the way, I still have Spurs in 7. I've been telling y'all that all along. Wemby looked ready to pull off a legendary finals run, but then things started getting weird. Why was Taylor Swift at the game? Come on, bro. She doesn't know basketball like that. My third eye is open. I know what happens whenever she gets connected to certain teams. Somehow she's always around when major storylines happen. Then you've got Trump showing up too. Let's be real. The NBA makes way more money if the Knicks win the championship. My third eye is open. You can fool everybody else, but you can't fool me. Taylor Swift was celebrating while the Spurs were still up big. Why? Because she already knew the script. She was part of the script. I wasn't born yesterday. And now y'all want me to believe this comeback was completely legitimate? No chance. This felt like one of the strangest finals games I've ever watched. The Knicks were playing dirty all game long. Look at them beating up my GOAT. Dirty team, bro. I lost all respect. Right when I thought they were actually playing fair, they started doing the same stuff I complain about from other teams. Mitchell Robinson, you better hope I never catch you outside. Look at the replay. That's not even a basketball play. He's falling right under Wemby's legs. Imagine if Wemby had torn an ACL on that play. You better pray I never run into you. And yes, I'm talking about GTA, of course. But seriously, at halftime, the Spurs were up 30. Then I heard Ernie Johnson say it could become the biggest comeback in NBA history. Why would you even say that out loud? The moment I heard that, I knew something felt off. At that point, I wasn't even watching the game closely. I had just uploaded some NBA gameplay and was editing videos. In my mind, the series was already tied. Then I noticed Taylor Swift celebrating while the lead had been cut. Suddenly, a 29-point lead became 22, and I thought, hold on, something isn't adding up. Taylor Swift is one of the higher-ups, bro. She should be banned from sporting events. The second she showed up courtside, it felt like everything changed. Then I started noticing the Spurs doing things that made absolutely no sense. Coming out of halftime, they just kept launching three-pointers. Devin Vassell missed a 3, Champagnie missed a 3, Dylan Harper missed a 3, Vassell missed another one, Keldon Johnson missed one, De'Aaron Fox missed one. Bro, why are y'all shooting so many threes? You're not the Golden State Warriors. Wemby is 7'5". Use the size advantage. At that point, I was losing my mind. If the Spurs lose this series, I might be done watching basketball. I'm not about to let this scripted association ruin my peace. And De'Aaron Fox, we're going to get to him in a minute because his time is coming. Even at the end of the third quarter, Wemby was launching threes. He missed 2 of them within seconds. Why is everybody shooting threes? Adam Silver must have told them to start chucking shots. If your third eye is open, you know exactly what happened that night. I wasn't even shocked when the Knicks started coming back. When your third eye is open, you can feel what's really going on. It's all about viewership. The NBA makes more money if the Knicks win. So Barnacle boy Adam Silver stepped in and made the call. But let's talk about De'Aaron Fox. What exactly were you doing out there? Did you just learn how to play basketball yesterday? Back-to-back turnovers? Adam Silver must have personally called you at halftime and told you to sell the game because there's no way I watched what I watched. Why were they taking all those threes and turning the ball over? Then suddenly in the fourth quarter, the Knicks couldn't miss. Clutch shot after clutch shot. Magnetic rims, bro. I've shown y'all before how they can supposedly control makes and misses. Wemby is one of the best free throw shooters on the team, and suddenly he's missing both. Come on, man. If your third eye's open, you know exactly what magnetic rims are. Then we get to the play everybody's talking about. Brunson gets the ball back. Wemby makes a great defensive play and takes it away. Beautiful defense. And then De'Aaron Fox completely loses me. This might be the last season I ever expect to see you in the league. It hurts because I was actually a fan before this. But are you serious? You have the basketball IQ of a 3-year-old on this play. Just dribble the ball out. What are you doing? The shot clock was winding down. The Knicks needed the ball back. All you had to do was hold it. Instead, OG blocks the layup attempt off the backboard. And y'all want me to believe De'Aaron Fox didn't get a call from FanDuel at halftime? My third eye is open. Fox can't possibly be that clueless. Then after the game, he tried to explain it by saying he thought he had enough time to get the layup. That was his explanation, and that's when I knew this game would have people talking for a long time. Then they asked De'Aaron Fox about that final sequence. Most players in that situation either run the clock out or try to draw a foul. What made you decide to go for the layup? And this man really looked into the microphone and said, "I thought I could outrun him." Bro, outrun him? Forget outrunning the defender, you needed to outrun the clock. That's the only thing that mattered in that moment. The second I heard that answer, my third eye opened even wider. There is no way that was the decision-making process. There is absolutely no way. Then, just like that, the Knicks get the ball back. Of course they do. And before anybody says anything, Brunson was not making that shot over my GOAT. Wemby had him locked up. The defensive possession was perfect. Everything went exactly how it was supposed to. Then, out of nowhere, OG Anunoby comes flying into the picture. Bro, you are the biggest tryhard I have ever seen in my life. Somebody box this man out. How is nobody putting a body on him? How is he getting a free run at the ball in the biggest moment of the game? My third eye is open. Nobody is convincing me this was a normal basketball game. Nobody legitimately throws away a game like this. At this point, De'Aaron Fox must secretly be employed by FanDuel, DraftKings, or somebody. I refuse to believe otherwise. And don't skip over the final possession, because that part matters too. Stephon Castle was wide open, wide open. The play call was beautiful. Everything developed exactly how you would want it to. All Dylan Harper had to do was put the ball where it needed to be. Instead, the pass comes out awkward, Castle never gets a clean opportunity, and the game is over. That was the moment right there. The play was there, the opening was there, the opportunity was there. And if we're being completely honest, it looked like there was contact on the play too. Stephon Castle probably should have been heading to the free throw line. But of course, no whistle, no call, nothing, because apparently we're just ignoring that now. I could sit here for the next 10 years breaking down every possession from this game and pointing out suspicious moments, but eventually we'd be here forever. So let's move on to the box score. Man, this might actually be my final season watching NBA basketball. I still have Spurs in 7, but this game tested everything inside me. Let's start with Julian Champagny. Bro, get off my team. I'm tired of pretending. I've been saying this for months. Everybody wants to spend all day blaming De'Aaron Fox, but look at the stat sheet. 5 points. 5. You're the starting power forward and you finish with 5 points in a finals game after your team blows a 30-point lead? Sure, you had some steals. Sure, you made a couple hustle plays. I don't care. Wemby needs a real front court partner. He needs somebody who can consistently score, rebound, create mismatches, and actually punish defenses. We need somebody like Lauri Markkanen. We need an elite forward next to Wemby. Instead, we've got a guy standing around the perimeter waiting to launch threes. And when those shots aren't falling, what exactly is he contributing? That's the question nobody wants to answer. Then there's Wemby. Listen, I know people are going to criticize him because he kept taking threes, but I'm not putting this one on him. Wemby is still a young superstar. He's listening to the coaching staff. He's following the game plan. If the coaches are telling him to keep spacing the floor and keep shooting, he's going to do it. That's why this loss falls on Mitch Johnson. The entire second half game plan made absolutely no sense. Greg Popovich would never have allowed this to happen. Never. The moment the lead started shrinking, adjustments would have been made. The offense would have settled down. The pace would have changed. The Spurs would have attacked the paint. Instead, everybody just kept launching 3 after 3 after 3. It felt like nobody realized they were protecting a 30-point lead. Mitch Johnson completely lost control of the game. At this point, let Pop coach through FaceTime. Let him send voice notes. Let him text the plays. Anything would be better than what I watched. Now let's talk about De'Aaron Fox. 18 points looks fine on paper, and anybody who actually watched knows the truth. The timing of the mistakes matters. The turnovers matter. The decision-making matters. The awareness matters. And when the game was on the line, everything completely fell apart. Then I remembered how much money this man makes. 4 years, over $200 million? Bro, somebody call the authorities. This is robbery in broad daylight. The contract detectives need to investigate immediately. There is no way. And honestly, I don't even think Fox should be part of the long-term future anymore. Dylan Harper is the future of this franchise. The sooner people accept that, the better. At the end of the day, it's just sports. I understand that. Nobody's life is ending because of a basketball game. But then I look online and see Knicks fans throwing trash after the game, celebrating like they personally won the championship themselves. This fan base is toxic. The team plays dirty, the fans act dirty. No respect for me, none. And what makes the loss even worse is that De'Aaron Fox actually played a pretty solid game for most of the night before everything unraveled. That's the painful part. The Spurs realistically should be leading this series 3-1 right now. We've watched one-possession games. We've watched missed opportunities. We've watched game winners bounce the wrong way. We've watched situations where one tiny change flips the entire outcome. This series is way closer than people think. Looking at the rest of the roster, Devin Vassell finished with 18 points. Cool. Stephen Castle had 13. Fine. Keldon Johnson? Bro, get off my team. Carter Bryant? Whatever. Luke Cornett? Whatever. But Dylan Harper? 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and efficient basketball all night long? That's your future point guard. That's your floor general. That's the guy who should already be running the offense. Every time he touches the ball, things look organized. Every time Fox touches the ball, my blood pressure goes up. At this point, just start Dylan Harper and live with the results.
And then there's OG Anunoby. Somebody please explain this to me, because I have been sitting with this performance and I genuinely cannot make peace with it. This man is not the franchise player. That is not the role he was brought in to fill. He is not the guy the offense is supposed to run through when everything is on the line. And yet, somehow, some way, he walks out onto that floor in the NBA Finals and drops 33 points like it was a preseason tune-up. 7 3-pointers. 7! And then he walks off the court with the same expression he probably has when he's deciding what to order for dinner. No fist pump, no yell, no anything. Just cool, calm, and completely unbothered. And when the media got to him after the game and asked how it actually felt to hit a shot that massive in the NBA Finals on his home floor with that crowd going absolutely insane around him, his answer was essentially this: "It feels cool. Everyone's excited. We're excited too. But we're locked in on the next game." That was it. That was the entire answer. No grin, no pause to take it in, no acknowledgement that he had just done something that most professional basketball players never get to experience in their entire careers. Just a blank, robotic, almost unsettling composure. Bro, you just hit one of the most important shots of your life. You were on the biggest stage in the sport. Give us something, anything, one single human emotion. We are begging. Then again, maybe the fact that he showed nothing makes complete sense once you factor in that my third eye has been fully open this entire series and has not blinked once. Because 7 threes in the finals from this particular player at this particular moment? No, I'm sorry, that is not basketball. That is magnetism. That is the ball being physically pulled toward the basket by forces that have nothing to do with shooting mechanics. I don't care how many people want to come into the comments and tell me he's been working on his shot. I don't care about his shooting percentage from the last 3 weeks of the regular season. 7 threes in an NBA Finals game from a guy who was not supposed to be the offensive focal point at the exact moment the team needed it most? That is not a coincidence. That is something else entirely. My third eye sees it clearly, and it is not closing. And don't even get me started on the minutes. 41 minutes. This man played 41 minutes of full speed, maximum effort, leave everything on the floor basketball, sprinting in transition, contesting shots at the rim, chasing shooters off screens, making every single hustle play that needed to be made, and came out the other end of it looking like he had just arrived at the gym fresh. No heavy breathing, no visible fatigue, no moment where he looked like a man who had been running at that intensity for the better part of 2 hours. So I'm going to ask the question that the mainstream media is apparently too polite to ask. Where is the drug test? I'm not making an accusation. I'm asking a procedural question. Because if any other player on any other team in any other series put up those numbers, logged those minutes, and looked that comfortable doing it, people would already be having that conversation loudly and publicly. I'm just the only one willing to say it on camera. Now, shifting over to the other side of the floor because it went pretty much exactly the way I laid it out beforehand, Karl Anthony Towns was locked up from the opening tip to the final buzzer. Couldn't get comfortable, couldn't impose his size, couldn't find his spots, completely neutralized. Josh Hart had a wide open layup in the fourth quarter, the kind of shot you make in your sleep in practice, and he missed it. Mikal Bridges, one of the more reliable wings in the entire league during the regular season, finished with 7 points. 7! In the NBA Finals! For long stretches of that game, if you remove Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby from the stat sheet, the New York Knicks looked like a team that had no business being on that floor. Now, full credit where full credit is absolutely due. Brunson was magnificent. 36 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. He was every single thing a franchise point guard is supposed to be when the moment is at its absolute biggest. And I am not going to take 1 ounce of that away from him. He earned every bit of it. But here's the reality. You cannot win a championship series relying on 2 players to carry the entire offensive load while the rest of the roster disappears. If that pattern holds, if Towns, Bridges, and Hart show up in the next game the way they showed up in this one, then the Knicks have a serious problem that 36 points from Brunson alone cannot solve. Which brings me to where I am mentally right now. I have gone through the full emotional cycle on this. The frustration, gone. The anger, done. The urge to flip a table and yell at my television, completely passed. I have arrived at full acceptance, and from this place of total peace and clarity, I am telling you with absolute certainty, Spurs in 7. That prediction was locked in before this game started, and it is not moving a single inch, regardless of what anyone says, what the analysts project, or what the highlight reels look like tomorrow morning. Let me walk you through the logic one more time because it is airtight. The Spurs are heading back to San Antonio for Game 5. They are not losing on their home floor. That crowd, that energy, that building, it does not happen. San Antonio wins and forces Game 6. Then Victor Wembanyama, a 21-year-old who has been quietly building toward a defining moment his entire young career, goes into Madison Square Garden, one of the loudest and most hostile arenas in professional sports, and takes a game on the road. That's forces Game 7. And once Game 7 lands back in San Antonio, with 60,000 plus people on their feet from the opening tip, with everything on the line, with the entire basketball world watching, that's Wembanyama's stage. That's the exact floor and the exact moment he was built for. The basketball universe does not construct a narrative that fits perfectly and then refuse to let it reach its natural conclusion. The adjustment is simple, and the Spurs coaching staff needs to commit to it. Sit De'Aaron Fox, insert Dylan Harper into the starting lineup, and trust the direction this franchise is heading. Stop second-guessing it, stop managing the moment, and just let the future play out the way it's supposed to. Dylan Harper has shown enough. Give him the keys and get out of the way. Spurs in 7. It's stamped, it's locked, it's not a prediction anymore, it's a scheduled event. Write it down, screenshot it, do whatever you need to do to remember that I said it first, because I am not changing this pick. Not after Game 6, not after Game 7, for nothing. Spurs in 7, and that's the end of it.